10 years ago, a plan was mooted to build a Nairobi expressway that would connect the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport to the Nairobi-Nakuru highway. The work is now proceeding at breakneck speed with an anticipated launch date of February 2021. That's actually February 2022 or 23, I believe. But as Waihiga Mwaura reports, city residents will have to pay a heavy price on the road before they can enjoy the services of the multi-billion shilling mega project.
It is 40 minutes after the lifting of the curfew on a weekday in Nairobi, and we are headed to Mlolongo, Machakos County. We are informed that this is the average time when many residents living in that part of the country leave home so as to avoid the heavy traffic occasioned by the construction of the Nairobi Expressway. Once you get to Uhuru Highway, the imposing pillars are hard to miss, with constant diversions and blue iron sheets as far as the eye can see. Well, it's a couple of minutes past 5 a.m. and we are almost at Mlolongo. On the other side, vehicles are headed towards the Nairobi Central Business District. And although traffic is building up slowly but steadily, one can only wonder what will happen when all these vehicles converge on Mombasa Road. Motorists who woke up at 4 a.m. making the mad dash to be in the Central Business District before 8 a.m. Barely 1 hour later, you can understand why, with our Google Maps software showing several red zones between Mlolongo and the Nairobi CBD. Our first stop is just before the Imara Daima railway station, where traffic is at a complete standstill. Keen to see what lies ahead, our cameraman James Opondo jumps onto a motorbike, and what he sees ahead should worry the authorities. Kilometers upon kilometers of stationary vehicles, and where there is movement, it is at a snail's pace.
Inalazimu niamke mapema ama hata saa zingine nitembee kwa miguu niamke mapema zaidi. Kwa sababu gari ukingoja unachelewa saa nyingine.
Jamu imekuwa mingi. Sasa mahali nilikuwa natumia kama mafuta ya 400, saa hii unastukia inaenda mpaka 700.
The construction of the Nairobi Expressway by the China Road and Bridge Corporation began in 2019, a 27-kilometer highway, some of it elevated, that will connect the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in the east of the city to the Nairobi-Nakuru highway in the west. The partially elevated highway was proposed about 10 years ago, but is only now becoming a reality at the cost of 62 billion Kenya shillings. Whilst it is expected to ease traffic once it is launched in February 2022, in the meantime, all users on the road must put up with some heavy traffic and the search for alternative routes. Motorists hoping to avoid the Mombasa Road gridlock are choosing alternative routes like Langata Road. But depending on the time and the weather conditions, it could be a case of jumping from the frying pan into the fire. Meanwhile, back on Mombasa Road, the traffic situation hasn't changed much. 4 hours since we first got here, and it could get worse when it rains or an accident happens. It is 10 a.m. on a weekday, and this is the situation at the Nyayo National Stadium roundabout. Now, these vehicles have been at a standstill for the last 30 minutes or so. I've spoken to some of the drivers. They are trying to keep busy reading newspapers, on the phone, during Zoom meetings. Others have switched off their vehicles, and they are very concerned that they will be here for a very long time.
I don't understand why these people, whoever is in charge of the road, why can't they do this work at night? Because we have curfew up to from 8 o'clock to 4 a.m. in the morning. Why then, how do we work if we are going to spend 3 to 4 hours on the road? And again, we have curfew starting from 8. So what are we doing? How are we going to earn our living?
I'm on my way to a meeting. I'm already 30 minutes late, so I don't know how I'll get to it.
A couple of hours later, the scramble to get home before the curfew begins. Pictures of Kenyans queuing in town, now a common sight. The outbound traffic beginning at the Haile Selassie roundabout. The traffic peaks again at the Southern Bypass interchange, and the only ones celebrating are border operators who charge at least 500 Kenya shillings from the CBD to this location at rush hour.
That road is being done in the first place because of the traffic jams, which used to be there before. We are doing it to solve the traffic problem which was there before. If there was no traffic congestion before, there would be no justification to do it in the first place. And hence, this pain we are having now is a very short-term pain. Hopefully by end of December, from there the traffic issues will be dealt with.
In 2019, the Nairobi Metropolitan Area Transport Authority released a report showing how traffic in Nairobi cost the country almost 100 billion Kenya shillings in lost productivity, with Nairobi ranked as the 4th most congested city in the world.
Before even the construction started for this road, we used to have people telling us that, for example, they flew from Kampala, they flew from Dar es Salaam, 1 hour flight. Then they used to take 3 hours between Jomo Kenyatta Airport and the city of Nairobi. So the losses have been there, and these are the losses we want to mitigate.
Waihiga Mwaura, Citizen TV.